All right, welcome back to another Honcast.com presentation on Breaky CPK. Going to be your shoutcasting host, and joining me this time is Phil the Thrill, the Honcast staff, as well as the competitive insight, Henry D. And this is the Game Replays Tournament, third season, second tournament. A lot of words, but we're in the semifinals now. Again, these tournaments specifically, not necessarily anything huge on the line, but there are qualification points on the line. The further you go in these 5 qualification tournaments, the more points you gain, of course, which results in a placement in the top 8 for the finals tournament, where there's $3,000 eventually on the line. So yeah, go to the website. You can check out all the information there if you're really curious about it. But who cares about that? We have a great matchup here. We got Duskbin Gaming, also formerly known as NVD, the great Southeast Asian team. A lot of people love this team, a very action team, a lot of fun to watch. They're taking on Fnatic MSI, who are coming off obviously a huge series yesterday against EG, and they are, after such a dominating performance, it's hard to say that this team isn't number 1 in the world right now. So should be an awesome matchup, though. In terms of what server we are playing on, I'm sure a lot of people are interested about that. It's actually going to be on a US West server, so I'm sure latency is fairly even. Again, I can't check it, unfortunately, because it's a replay cast, but I'm sure it was fairly even for both sides, maybe a little bit higher for the European section, but that's, when you're facing Southeast Asia versus Europe, you only have so many options. But with that said, it should be a lot of fun still. But like I said, I'm joined by Phil the Thrill. First things first, how you doing, Phil?
I'm doing pretty well, thanks for asking. And yeah, I'm really ready to get this underway. I mean, Duskbin, a team that we, as you mentioned earlier, we love watching them play because they always have like these weird strategy setups, and sometimes they work out, and they're just a lot of fun to watch. Fnatic MSI, though, I mean, it feels right now like they can do no wrong, and I don't know how much of a fight Duskbin is really going to be able to put up against a team of the caliber of MSI right now. I really have to agree with what Twisted was saying last night. They just seem like they're on a whole new level.
They really do. Again, as you said, after that performance yesterday, again, what a lot of people, if anything, say that they're the second best team in the world. I mean, just how they just dominated them. I mean, just in both of those games was just really fascinating to watch. And yeah, MSI, I mean, they do a lot of practice, they skirmish a lot, and it really does show. It really does. And they are very, very deserving of where they are at right now. As far as Duskbin is concerned, though, I mean, we don't necessarily cover them a lot. We don't talk about them a lot because obviously they play on the Garena servers a lot of the time, and they do the best that they can with all these tournaments that they can get into. But they are a very, very good team themselves, a very sound team. I mean, we saw teams like XTU and Impunity at the DYA event, 2 Southeast Asian teams, and honestly, even them, they consider Duskbin to be the top team for Southeast Asia, and those teams alone, they were very, very competitive teams, and EG and ICE both giving them a lot of respect, very good teams over there. So yeah, really, really good section over there, and I'm really looking forward to seeing more and more pop out, but Duskbin is, considered the best from that section, and so, we kind of got the best from Southeast Asia versus the best from, well, frankly, the world at this point, so it should be awesome. Henry D, you're also joining us, though. Want to get you in there. How you doing, Henry?
I'm doing just fine. I did actually catch the game yesterday, MSI against EG, and I thought that was actually I was actually put my mind on EG. I expected them to win, but yeah, MSI did play really well. But I've always been a big fan of this team since the first time we saw them against them. I think it was against MSI as well, where they actually won the first time we'd ever done a cast with them, and I expect to see some good stuff from them. I mean, I always like to see Asian teams play, so.
Yeah, always a lot of fun, and definitely come with some interesting strategies. Trouble talking right there. All right, so the picks are finishing up here on Duskbin's side. We got 10 seconds left, so let's look at the bans first things first. We got Slither, Soulstealer, Myrmidon, Dr. Repulsor, Hellbringer, and Moraxis. So look at this. Both of the new heroes are in fact banned in this game. So obviously not auto-banned. They were used as bans. So 2 of the bans going for those heroes. The other 4 bans, nothing too much. We see them time and time again. Slither maybe a little bit of standout one, but Slither has been becoming a lot more popular hero, especially recently as well. And, he's banned now. I'm guessing, though, he was banned by Duskbin Gaming, seeing that Trixie is such a powerful Slither player as I'm going up. Yeah, of course, he was banned by Duskbin Gaming. As far as the new heroes, looks like Duskbin banned Moraxis, and MSI actually banned Myrmidon. So interesting bans there. What are your takes on the bans here, Phil?
Well, I mean, Moraxis has been run by MSI, and they've had some great success with it. As far as Myrmidon is concerned, I don't know how far along the Garena servers are, so maybe they don't have access to Myrmidon, but obviously it was banned by Fnatic MSI, so I don't know, maybe that's something that they just didn't want Duskspin to be able to use, or maybe they just were trying to be fair. I have no idea why they would ban that hero, Fnatic MSI, because obviously we won't see a whole lot from Duskspin as far as the competitive scene is concerned when it's not casted for the most part, or in one of these tournaments. But yeah, no real big surprises on the bans, really. I mean, catered to individual players and just solid hero bans all around.
Your thoughts on the bans, Henry? Wow.
No, they're pretty much said it. I mean, if the Asian teams, like you said, MSI was the team that banned Myrmidon, but I mean, I've seen him play, and I've played him quite a few times, and he is. They need to just nerf some of the numbers, maybe the speed on the fish or something. I don't know, because I think it's kind of insane, because he can control entire team fights, not like a behemoth can by making everyone scatter, but he can like control pretty much all the players one at a time, and they have to fix him in that sense. I just quickly have to point something out here. We see I know this isn't the bans, but No Tail is playing Demented Shaman, and I'd love to see a Demented Shaman go solo mid now. That would be pretty cool to see.
Well, yeah, about that, we'll go over the Hellborn team as well, but they, Demented Shaman actually did play against EG. They had him solo mid against EG in the first game, I believe it was. I forget who he soloed against, honestly. I'm blanking on the hero that I think it was
Defiler.
Defiler, that's right, yeah, it was Choose Defiler. Yeah, he did a very, very, very good job. And in fact, Twisto was making the mention, for those who that are, invested in the Dota somewhat or know the Dota background history, at least recently, Shadow Priest has been a popular solo mid hero, and that's obviously the equivalent of, Demented Shaman here on Here's a New Worth. So, No Tell, we saw him. He did an excellent job in the EG matchup. I'm sure he'll do an excellent job here. And this is MSI for you. They do have the history of kind of creating new strategies and kind of getting a feel for the game. And because they're on top, a lot of teams and a lot of players like to, kind of repeat what they do. So, I wouldn't be surprised, especially in a lot of public games, especially after now the second time we're seeing it, Demented Shaman saying, I'm going to solo mid, guys. But no, he does a very good job of it, or he did a very good job of it. Definitely expecting that once again here. He's going to have a Bombardier versus Demented Shaman matchup, so interesting to see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, as Twister was mentioning, he definitely has a lot of push pressure if he just spams that healing wave. In fact, he got healing wave first, of course. We did see him actually max out Entangle first yesterday against the Defiler. Curious to see if he does that here as well, or if he goes for maybe the healing wave max for the push potential. We'll have to wait and see what he decides to go. But as you can see already, a lot of harassment coming out. Curious to see how that matchup goes. But as far as Fnatic MSI's lineup as a whole, we are looking at the Demented Shaman, Voodoo Jester, Witch Slayer, Pharaoh, and of course Gladiator playing the Gladiator trial lane. Demented Shaman dropping fast here in the middle lane, using the Mana Battery at the last second. Not going to be enough though. Gets a healing wave off, but Bubbles comes in, perfect timing, and Demented Shaman goes down. So the Bloodlust kill coming out for JoJo Flow, playing on Duskspin Gaming, and a 1-0 hero kill advantage for them just like that. So an excellent gank set up to start things off, and gets the early kill. And in fact, you see Bubbles, why spend time at the top lane when you can be busy ganking in the middle lane. No, but the Hellborn team, very standard other than that Demented Shaman pick up middle. As always, though, going to be entertaining to see how that goes. What are your thoughts on the Hellborn team over here, Phil?
Well, you hit it right in the head earlier. They are innovators, and they know that they obviously test some of these strategies, and they know that they're going to work when they run them. Great thing about Demented Shaman is that he can keep himself alive, and he can really just keep the enemy team from getting as much farm as they might normally get. Another thing that's pretty interesting to note, though, is that they actually have 4 players up here at this top lane, where the bottom, where they've been running their own tri-lane, has been pretty much left alone. So, I mean, there's definitely something strange going on here on Fnatic MSI side. Looks like a little bit of juggling was being done by Pharaoh over here, and definitely a unique strategy being run here by Fnatic MSI.
I want to quickly point out something.
Okay, go ahead.
I just remembered that. Actually, even before Dota, I mean, I've actually kept an eye on Doris myself. Nice sticky bomb there by Bombardier, but yeah, I've actually been watching the Dota scene, and even before that, Keitaru from Clan TCM has actually been doing the Diminished Shaman solo mid since beta, and I just remember that now. It's a favorite of his, and I'm entirely certain they didn't pick it up from him, but I'm just pointing out that he has been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, but as far as like coverage here on Honcast and obviously big time tournaments, it is the first time that we've kind of been seeing it. But yeah, by the way, let's sync up since I noticed you were a little bit behind there. Let's go. I'm going by the in-game counter. I'm currently at 313, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Okay.
Good, Phil? 22,
yeah.
23. Okay. All right, so, yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting, though. But he already has 2 deaths. I mean, definitely not off to the good start that he was like yesterday. Although yesterday, I'll say this much, in the EG game, he got a lot of support early on, which really, really, really helped ultimately against that Defather mid. He did get out-farmed in the end. I mean, that's kind of expected. But this Bombardier, I mean, you got to give a lot of credit right now to Jojo Flow playing this Bombardier. He's doing an excellent job of just providing the aggressive play. I believe that is ZKK, by the way. Obviously, for those of you that remember NVD, he was their very powerful carry player / solo mid player, and I believe that is him. I don't know that. I can't say for sure. I'm not sure what exactly their names are, because they had to change them around once they got their new accounts once Garena happened. So, but yeah. Anyways, whoever it is, he's doing an awesome job here playing this solo mid, and he's currently level 5 at 2-0. Those 2 hero kills already for him, so 342 gold per minute on top of an awesome, a decent creep score, I should say. Not awesome, but it is decent at this point. But yeah, now for the Legion team, as by the way, Bubble's just sitting in this jungle up here, getting any experience he can. He's going to actually run away right now, noticing that he might have been spotted right there. But, ooh, look at this also. Demented Shaman, that was the other interesting thing that I liked about yesterday, too. He actually gets Arcane Hide early on as well. I mean, obviously, we're used to seeing Demented Shaman play like a pure support babysit. He doesn't usually get that earlier on. But, by the way, action at the top lane, porting out his Bubbles. Great stun right there as well. But, wow, Bubbles actually ends up dying to the Hellborn Creeps. They actually put too much damage out. He ported right on top of them. And I guess it was just too much for him to handle. So, despite the good getaway from the heroes, unfortunately, gets taken out. But yeah, it's always interesting to see a different style of build as well. And the Arcane Hide, definitely useful. I mean, early on, it prevents a lot of good early damage, and thus choosing to go it early on here. But all right, let's go over the Legion team though. Again, we have a lot of action going back and forth. So. But Legion team is concerned, so Duskbin, we got Bubbles, Magnus, Bombardier, Andromeda, and Forsaken Archer. Now, they chose to go with the Forsaken Archer tri lane, at least originally, but realizing how the lanes were set up, it now looks like Magnus is doing a little bit more of a roaming. But the Bombardier middle, of course, we keep on talking about him doing a fantastic job. Unfortunately, missing a sticky bomb right there, but tried to combo. But overall, the lineup, I mean, Forsaken Archer, she is going to get a very powerful farm, and clearly they're going to look for her to compete with this Gladiator in terms of carry status. But your thoughts on the Legion team over here, Phil?
Well, I like the early movement that they've had thus far. I really like Bubbles, as the fact that they're going to have to wait a little bit for this Magnus to be able to pick up his portal key. So it's nice to have a hero that has some innate initiation ability, as Witchslayer actually gets caught up at this top. He's got a haste rune activated. Will it be enough to get away? Actually, Bubbles ports back past a couple of auto attacks with but it's not going to be. Oh, the ultimate from Bombardier comes out and takes him out. Good coordination from Duskbin thus far in this game. But yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they're going to have that innate initiator and Bubbles for those early team fights if needed, until they can get that portal key picked up on Magnus. Bombardier, obviously a very strong hero with a global ultimate that can make him kind of an annoyance to deal with as the game progresses. And they just have a pretty decent all-around team. They have, good initiation, good team fight presence, and that's really what you're looking for in a good, solid team setup.
Henry, your thoughts?
I really like the fact that they have Gladiator against Bubbles, because we know when Bubbles gets a couple of players stuck in his ultimate, then that not necessarily have to hit anyone with the ultimate what's it called? Call to arms, but it does provide them that survivability, and that's pretty much what he needs to pretty much sustain that Bubbles ultimate. And then the rest of the team, is pretty straightforward. I mean, we've seen them do the Gladiator tri-lane before, and don't know why I'm talking about Gladiator, sorry. I mean, I've just talked about the wrong team for like 2 minutes now, haven't I?
Maybe. I believe so, yeah. We're talking about the Legion team, Duskman.
Yeah, I was just talking about the whole team. Well, that's embarrassing.
It's fine.
But yeah, they anyway, back to the Legion team. They have a good team. You know, they have a lot of stuns, a lot of disabled. But you know, the reason they're moving around is not just because of the fact that they have a tri-lane going up, range hero going up against a melee hero. It's also the fact that if they don't move around, then I mean, even the Dimension Shaman goes solo middle. I mean, that, you know, he is a strong hero to go solo mid if you think about it. I mean, he has high base damage. He has a great heal. He's going this arcane hide build, which I haven't seen before. But you know, so that's good in that sense. So they need to be moving around to make sure they keep up the pressure. Take the action on the top lane.
Well, sure is action picking up. Andromeda's going to end up going down, so the initiation for the Legion team doesn't work out too well for them. A good getaway from Witchslayer and an excellent catch by Gladiator. Can he land a pitfall? No. Bubbles is going to go another route, and then he's going to port out. Oh, he gets out just before the muggy wall, but actually it wouldn't matter because he could just port out anyway. So he's able to get away, and that's all the damage done, at least for now. Voodoo Jester is still running in here, actually, but it's just placing a ward. But does need to be careful himself. He starts falling back. But, yeah, the failed gank attempt, unfortunately, from the Legion team up top there as they went for Witchslayer, but it just wasn't able to happen. I mean, look at the damage, though, coming out on this Demented Shaman in middle lane. Bombardier really doing an excellent job of making sure to keep up the harassment and not allowing this Demented Shaman to get any type of really strong farm going, as well as not allowing him to harass too effectively. I mean, in terms of farm, though, he actually pretty much tied with Bombardier, so that's good. But again, Bombardier with the 3 hero kills and the 2 hero deaths already for No-Tail playing this Demented Shaman. Again, not necessarily the most ideal start for him, but I guess he isn't doing too bad considering the circumstances. But yeah, Bombardier is definitely winning the middle lane, but as we see, Gladiator is pushing the top lane. This is what we're so used to seeing. He already has his helmet of the Black Legion. This tower will be dropping soon. Can Blue, that's Bubbles, get here in time to defend it. Even if he gets there, it just can't do anything. Gladiator's not going to be worried about a turtle shot coming in. He actually ports in with it. Ooh, a very risky move right here, but the Bombardier ultimate as well. Good combination, using the takeover, not in time though. Out comes a pitfall. Gladiator standing his ground and just way too tanky for that. So good try right there from Bubbles, but wasn't enough. Is he going to port in? No, he hits him with a shell, but chooses not to port in. Another pitfall coming out. Trixie thought he actually ported with it, and instead he is going to get away. But in the meantime, Pharaoh actually gets taken out by this Forsaken Archer Magnus combination here at the bottom lane. So again, talking about Gladiator, obviously Forsaken Archer doing his thing and doing an excellent job of that, pushing that bottom lane, as well as getting a very good farm. Bombardier putting the pressure on Demented Shaman. Out comes his bombardment ability. Can Magnus get him with a Lava Surge? Not going to be able to get close enough, and actually ends up turning around. So Demented Shaman going to be fine for that. But yeah, Demented Shaman definitely having to play a lot more defensive, at least than what we saw yesterday, and not able to play as aggressive, really harassment itself. Again, a lot of credit deserves to Bombardier. But right now, again, it's really coming down to Forsaken Archer versus Gladiator at this point. And Trixie's Gladiator is just so powerful. He already has a 50 gold per minute advantage. Meanwhile, at the bottom lane, Pharaoh gets caught. Not enough for the kill, though. Port coming in now from Demented Shaman, in fact, and they're just going to let that be, as in fact they didn't deny the tower. So that's actually pretty huge right there, where Gladiator got the tower kill at the top lane. Forsaken Archer not able to pick up the tower kill at the bottom lane.
Yeah, stats still relatively even as we go past the 10-minute mark now. Very minimal gold lead for Fnatic MSI. A little bit larger experience, almost 1,000. Getting pretty close to 1,000 right now. So it's very, very even thus far. Just taking a look at some of what's actually been going on, you know, what makes Demented Shaman a great hero to have mid is the fact that even though you can harass him, he also has the ability to farm even without being close to you. His healing wave bounces at level 4, bounces to 5 different targets, and with a range of 600, actually that's 600 per target that it heals. So you could technically still put out the 140 or 140 damage, physical damage, on a target that's 3,000 units away, technically, if the setup was completely perfect. So, I mean, it's important to know that, you know, you can basically stand back, quite a bit of ways and still farm creep kills, which gives him the ability to forego a little bit of harassment from Bombardier, which is one of the reasons he was able to keep it so close. Now down here at the bottom, they're going to try to put this defensive tower. It's going to go down. Freshman going to pick up a kill. But at what cost, as you might say? Demented Shaman is going to try to heal himself up right here. The ultimate being used from Pharaoh. Demented Shaman Shaman more than likely going to go down as he is trying to avoid anything possible. Here comes the ultimate from Bubbles. A little bit overkill perhaps, but they're going to pick up the kill on him anyway. And, they did pick up the tower kill, however. Fresh Pro going to pick up the nice gold for that. And, overall just, a good exchange there, actually in favor of Fnatic MSI, I think.
Well, yeah, I mean, Demented Shaman, though, he drew a lot of attention to him. I mean, in the end, 4 players were down there, and even the Bombardier ultimate was used on top of him, which was kind of overkill. That's a fairly long cooldown, too, 140-second cooldown. So he drew a lot of cooldowns there as well as a lot of attention. And in the meantime, Trixie on Gladiator doing his thing. Fnatic MSI is really, really good at this, taking the attention off Gladiator, making the other team react to somewhere else, and Gladiator just does his thing at this top lane, the short lane always, and just pushes it in, gets the immensely crazy farm, and then eventually takes over the game. So it's really interesting to see this every single time. You figure teams would kind of adapt to that by now and realize, holy crap, Gladiator's getting powerful. We need to stop him. We need to set ganks up on him. But, I mean, even this game, we haven't seen Duskbin really move up here to, necessarily put crazy pressure on him. Instead, they're playing what we see a lot of the time. They're going for our carry's just going to outfarm your carry, and we're just going to have a team fight elsewhere. As Bombardier, in the meantime, is taken out right there. Bubbles with his ultimate use, which they're taking a lot of pressure. Out comes that hide, though. Superman's game, not going to be enough for the save, though. The sticky bomb on Demented Shaman, dropping fast. There's the explosion. Can he stay healed up? No, he cannot. In comes that Gladiator ultimate as well as he ports in, looking to drop this Magnus right here, and Voodoo Jester helps him do so. As down goes Magnus, a smackdown kill on top of that for Fresh Pro. As always, he has to at least get 1 per game. And down goes Andromeda. So in the end, numbers advantage actually coming out on top for the Hellborn team right there. And Gladiator showing a rare movement early on from what we're used to seeing with the strategy. But you also see the triple stacked camps, and at least right there. And I'm sure throughout the game, others have been stacked, more than likely this one as well. And that so helps the Gladiator, of course. And as far as the Legion team, I mean, they're doing a similar thing for the Forsaken Archer, of course, down here. But not as easy for Forsaken Archer necessarily to take out the AoE. Like, she doesn't have that flagellation ability, but she does have the crippling volley and can definitely combo them down fairly fast. But yeah, it is interesting to always see the strategy kind of played like this. And right now, Gladiator does have the slight advantage over this Forsaken Archer here.
Yeah, map control is also an advantage for the Hellborn team. Fnatic MSI, having that tower to protect their jungle gives them so much more mobility around those neutral creeps. However, not having that over on the Legion side really means Forsaken Archer is playing a little bit risky anytime she goes in there. We're going to see Voodoo Jester actually get caught by this Aurora right here and more than likely be gone into by this Bombardier, and he's going to be taken out. One more attack's going to do it, and he goes down. So they're probably going to look to push this top tower now with 4 heroes and only only Gladiator being left up here. He has already got his Steam Boots and Helm of the Black Legion, and it'd be interested to see what he works towards next. I mean, Trixie does usually stick to a pretty standard build, so we'll see if he deviates from that at all, but I would not assume so. Forsaken Archer, the top farmer over here on the Legion team, currently at about 275 gold per minute, just barely out farming Bombardier on their team. It currently has a Mighty Blade, so probably working towards an early Shrunken Head. Wouldn't surprise me too much for that, as they decide not to go for this top tower.
But they are going to dive Demented Shaman in the middle lane. There goes the Lava Surge down. Out comes the port from Bubbles, but they go too far. He's going to be fine. The ports come in from Fnatic MSI. Always so good at supporting one another. And down goes Bubbles as a result. Magnus is still here, but he would not dare go in, especially with that Superman's cape on Demented Shaman. And Magnus is going to run away. He's actually going to pick up a regen rune, or should pick it up before Demented Shaman gets it. There we go. And he's going to start running away. So just another case of you think you have a kill against this Fnatic MSI team, but the support is there. It literally comes out of nowhere. 2 players porting in, including Pharaoh, and sure enough, they get the counter kill and indeed save Demented Shaman. So well played by them. And that top tower push, so as you're talking about, is now coming from the Legion side. Tower already dropping a half life, but here comes Gladiator already setting up the defense. Acid Cocktail actually bouncing around as well from Voodoo Jester, but they're going to end up falling back. I don't think either of us has mentioned this either, or any of us. The Fnatic MSI, now with that Demented Shaman and pickup as well, they actually have a double heal. I mean, they got, of course, the Mojo, which is being maxed out by Nova here on Voodoo Jester, and then, of course, they got the healing wave from Demented Shaman. We did see a little bit of that last team fight, so very, very powerful presence right there as well in those team fights. And Demented Shaman, in fact, pointing to this top lane, he's got that ultimate ready to use for this Gladiator to, help him offensively. but it looks like the Legion team kind of scattering back. They realize what's going on. Going to maybe set up a gank themselves, though, off in the jungle. But Fnatic MSI, they're smart. They're aware of the situation, and they're not going to necessarily overextend here. But Gladiator's going to charge in just like that. He gets the Superman escape. He's not afraid of taking a lot of damage here. Out comes a showdown, followed by the pitfall for a second after dropping fast. In the meantime, back here, they're trying to pressure Demented Shaman. Not enough for a kill, though. Flagellation coming out. Puts a good amount of damage out. In fact, gets a kill on Magnus. Can he take an arm Andromeda now? If he gets a Flagellation hit, he will get the kill. Oh, a good juke by Andromeda. They're in the jungle, staying alive. Can he get he wants to go on this creep wave. Yes, he turns around with the Flagellation. Smart positioning right there from Gladiator. 3 players dead right now. And now we have Forsaken Archer trying to get away. Going to try to land a pitfall. Forsaken Archer knows that. He does a little bit of ring around the rosy, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We showdown, expect that to come. No, he's not enough mana, actually. And ooh, it may be enough. Tormented Soul in 3 seconds. There's a showdown. Oh, the Mummy Wall comes up. And down goes October Kiss, playing that Forsaken Archer. And Trixie is now a serial killer. That is not a message you want to see if you are the opposing team on the Gladiator especially, and he's going to be really close, or he's going to have a good amount towards his Assassin Shroud. Now, you already see him with the Bastard Sword. I'm sure he has at least has a Broadsword now, and perhaps working on the pattern. So MSI already starting their early game dominance, now tying it up at 9 hero kills apiece. They also take on the middle tower, but action continues now in the middle lane. Silver bullet throwing Magnus, he's going to drop right there. Bombardier ultimate coming out, a good spread, however. 1 player going down, that's Pharaoh in the midst of that, but 4 players in total, 2 more get taken out right there for the Legion side, and it might be a 5th one. There it goes, Bubbles goes down, and Duskbin getting cleaned up here all of a sudden, both at the top and the middle lane. MSI again starting their takeover.
Yeah, actually, a question for Henry, since he's here doing competitive insight. You know, a lot of times people decide not to max out the entangle because you get the mini stun, you get the same amount of movement speed at level 3. The only thing it really does is a little bit more physical damage per second. I believe it goes from 21 to 28 physical damage per second. What do you think the thought process is behind No-Tail taking that up to level 4 instead of maybe, you know, maxing out the Arcane Hide if he wants to go that route, or even taking stats?
Well, the reason you don't get it to level 4 is pretty much because you're usually, obviously, babysitting someone, which is, if we do see the Demented Shaman, is usually what we see, and you don't get the level as fast, and you end up, you know, getting under-leveled. So, and you want to get that Arcane Hide maxed out early, but because of he can use the Entangle to harass in the laning phase, even though we didn't see him doing it here, you know, it's still definitely a good what's it called, DOT spell, and I always like to max it out, even if I'm, you know, just supporting with it. And I think it's kind of like with the same deal with the showdown. You know, you can only get it to level 2 because that's what you need for it to become useful with the Pitfall combination. But you know, I like maxing it out. I like maxing out the spells. It just does more damage. It becomes more useful. And you know, sometimes you'll get that extra 4 damage, whatever it does, and that'll help to set up a kill. So usually we only see it at level 3 is pretty much just because of the fact that you're under-leveled.
Action here in the middle lane, being picked up. Demented Shaman being chased down. Can he stay alive? No, he can. No, he'd swap it at the last second. He actually does end up going down, though. But here comes Gladiator looking to play cleanup crew. Takes out Bombardier. Magnus in a lot of trouble. He's sitting in that steam bath. But he does. He's still in a horrible spot right here. The pitfall's put out. It's not going to hit him, though. He actually put it in front of him. Thought he was there. Ended up being wrong. A rare wrong decision right there for Trixie on those pitfalls. But he has his Assassin Shroud, which he shows right there. And, ooh, he almost fell for the juke, but no, realizing they're still in there. Bubble's going to try to port out Grievous on anything. No, Witchslayer, he's going for Magnus instead. Magnus will go down. Kind of took the bait right there for Bubbles to ensure that he actually got away. So they do lose another one right there in the end, but at least they got the kill on Demented Shaman, I guess. But yeah, as I mentioned, Assassin Shroud just finished right there on this Gladiator, so that's just another scary thing that this Legion team really has to keep out for. And we do see it a lot. I mean, teams against this Gladiator Trixie play from Fnatic MSI, they do pick up Dust right away because you know it's coming, so you have to get Dust or Water Revelations right away. I'm currently looking around right now, and I do not see that on any of them. I mean, it is something to definitely think about, and it can be very, very effective for going up against him. But Even if you have that, though, he's obviously just still very tanky, and he still puts out a crap ton of damage. So a lot of trouble right now for this Legion team. And obviously, Forsaken Archer is their focus over here on Duskbin. Her farm not necessarily on par with Gladiator by any means, but not doing horrible. I mean, she is at 253 gold per minute, and she's looking to finish her Shrunken Head as soon as possible, as the Warhammer just gets delivered to her right there. Kind of Shrunken Head, no doubt, will, of course, be useful. Voodoo Jester doing some counter warding in the meantime, doing what he does best right there, taking care of those wards, and then being done with it. Tablet of Command on Pharaoh. Always a fun item to see. And the most interesting item, perhaps, is, of course, it's, by the way, Forsaken Archer Showdown Pitfall combination. Easily going to be taken out. Just way too many heroes here. And Forsaken Archer drops. You can never do it. You can never push by yourself like that against this Fnatic MSI team. You just know that you're just certainly going into death right there. And sure enough, that was. Demented Shaman, in the meantime, he's doing a push by himself. He's on Fnatic MSI, so he says, I can do it. But, well, no, you can't do it, unfortunately. They use quite a bit, but they indeed get the kill onto him right there. But yeah, speaking of Demented Shaman, I did want to point that out. He picked up a Ring of the Sorcery a little bit a while back. Always interesting to see newer items like that, different items, I should say. I honestly am in shock we don't see it more often, because it is a very, very good mana replenishment item, obviously. Just being able to spam that, especially for pushes. But we don't see it often, but he's picked up here by Demented Shaman. Again, you have to remember the pattern was decreased, I believe, recently. As of now, it's something like 200 gold, I believe. It is 200 gold, yeah.
It went from 500 to 200.
Yeah, so it's a slight reduction there, but fun pickup there. But yeah, MSI doing pretty well right now, once again.
I think it's a good pickup on Demented Shaman, specifically because he got those early levels, and he still has at least he has 3 of the heroes out leveled over on the Legion side, and really being able to sit back. It goes back to what I was telling you before about how the range on Healing Wave is kind of deceptive, which is the fact that you can sit back and you just have to have mana to keep casting those spells. All of his spells are relatively low mana cost and relatively low cooldown, so it makes him very effective by having all that additional mana, which is why we're seeing him with the Blood Chalice and the Ring of Sorcery. Also, the additional armor. You combine that with Arcane Hide, it can be a really useful tool as far as keeping yourself alive for as long as possible in team fights.
You like the Ring of the Sorcery pickup, Henry?
Yeah, and also it provides good pushing, the fact that they can push all the time, and if you've got unlimited mana, you've got unlimited healing, and if they were able to win a team fight, none of them will be able to go back and kill, which is pretty much the thinking behind picking up the Ring of the Sorcery. And if you look at the Hellborn team, the Legion team, sorry, they all got really low HP, so winning a team fight won't be a problem, but at the same time they'd have a lot of nukes, so they will be getting pretty low at the same time, so the Ring of the Sorcery is actually a really smart pickup.
That it is, as Bubbles gets away from the top lane, and the middle tower goes down there, though, in favor of the Legion team. I believe it was taken out Not Denied, so well done right there. Finally getting another tower kill. I believe one was denied, but they've gotten 2 now. Actually killed for themselves. 3 down in total. I can do math. Portal Key picked up on Witchslayer. Always very good to see that on a hero like him. Richard's finish on Glad. I mean, oh god, it's just so ridiculous. We're still yet to see a team really. I mean, we have seen it a couple of times where there are some teams that have been somewhat able to slow him down. I recall Dirty Minds recently. I believe it was they were able to shut him down a little bit, but in the end, I mean, it was still just too much to handle. But when it came to the later game, I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous how we've seen this, 20, 30 games now on Honcast in a row here from Fnatic MSI. Not in a row, but majority of the games from Fnatic MSI recently, last 2 months or so, have been this very similar Gladiator Trialing strategy. And we've still yet to see a team that has been able to overcome it, which is always very interesting. By the way, Andromeda gets picked off right there as a Witchslayer, using that Portal Key with the Graveyard Silver Bullet combination, now camping this double damage rune, and going to camp Conqueror as well, as sure enough it'll go down right here, so that'll be a token of life for MSI, killing kill right there. So of course Gladiator, now that's just another thing you have to worry about on top of everything else. So We're just once again seeing this kind of snowball effect of Gladiator just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and on top of just great support and all around great, kind of semi-carry roles as well being played on this Hellborn team. It's just too overwhelming for so many teams to handle, and it looks like it's going to be that case here for Duskman as well. As despite that Shrunken Head finished on Forsaken Archer, I mean, you're not looking at much else, honestly, as I'm going through the items right now on the Legion team. Storm Spirit's been finished on Bombardier, solid pickup, but definitely nothing game-changing. And here just comes another push from Fnatic MSI, so just going to keep the pressure on like they always do as well, and not going to let their other team, somehow climb back into this game.
Well, I think we've yet to see a team really give MSI a loss when they're running the Gladiator tri-lane. I mean, we saw EG give them one when they were running the Panda tri-lane, but since then, I don't think MSI's honestly lost a legitimate game. I know they lost to Scrim to Reason Gaming a little while ago as Bubbles gets caught up here on the top lane. We'll see if he's able to get away, using the take cover. And a good ultimate there from Forsaken Archer as well as attempts to port out. Will he be successful in doing so? Actually cancels it as he assumed he would get the kill, and that ends up being his death, unfortunately. Witch Slayer going to be able to make it away as well. So good ultimate there from Forsaken Archer, but it would have been better off if Bubbles had just gone back. I know they were trying to pick up the kills if all possible. Meanwhile, down in the base, we see actually Diminished Shaman and Gladiator doing some work down here as Magnus gets taken out. And Diminished Shaman just keeping those heals up as much as possible, trying to make sure that him and his teammates stays alive as long as possible. Forsaken Archer using the Shrunken Head, unfortunately at a moment in which he probably did not want to, but that's a recent pickup on her, I believe, as far as having it actually finished, maybe within the last 2 to 3 minutes. I hadn't really been paying attention to what her farm was looking like, but already a lot of pressure being put on this base tower in the middle lane as Andromeda uses a swap now. They're going to try to take out Gladiator. See Diminished Shaman ultimate coming out right there now using the Entanglement. Andromeda most likely going to be going down. There's a heal bomb right there to take her out. And that's what I was talking about before. You can max up over 700 damage as Diminished Shaman is more than likely going to be taken out, as well as the Boom Dust and the Bombardment are used in combination with Bombardier. Gladiator resurrects and is now going to try to make his way out of there. Boom Dust all the way put out, and the Pitfall actually hits. Here comes the Portal Key Magnus trying to put the sun out on him, and he'll be taken down as well. So a nice double kill there at the middle lane. Trixie kind of hanging around for a little bit too long, ends up in a great kill for Duskbin, but probably a little bit too late there as he's already, what's he got there, level 2 Rift Shards, and currently over 2,000 gold saved up, so I'm sure he's going to resurrect and go ahead and buy that level 4 Rift Shards.
Yeah, that was kind of ridiculous. I mean, we were watching that top action as he made. That was unfortunate for Bubbles. He thought that they could have got the kill, but ended up, because he canceled his port, ended up dying and not getting any kills. But then, as you saw down there, I look at the bottom lane then, and meanwhile, Gladiator and Demented Shaman are pushed literally pretty much at the world tree. They were really diving right there, and I mean, they stood alive for a long time, but in the end, Gladiator does go down, sure, but that's by no means a victory right there for Duskman Gaming. I mean, that was just MSI having fun with it and knowing the lead that they truly do have, and you can definitely afford to make some plays like that and make some quote-unquote mistakes like that. But yeah, just having some fun. But as you said, Gladiator's going to resurrect, and I'm sure he's going to finish off those Rift Shards, make them level 4, as he's going right here. And there we go. Okay, so now he has level 4 Rift Shards, and his Homecoming Zone he picks up as well. Why the hell not? So he's pretty much at his full farm status. Now he's just going to go for luxury items, whether it's a Behemoth Sword or Demonic Breastplate. Either or, always good. I mean, Demonic Breastplate would be a lot of fun, especially on top of the Demented Shaman ultimate. But at the same token, it kind of makes it, well, I don't necessarily need that minus armor. But you have to worry about the Aurora from Andromeda as well, as it provides the plus armor. So, yeah, we'll see what he decides to go for. But like I said, pretty much this is for his build where he's very, very confident in terms of being able to do a lot of damage, but also able to tank quite a bit and survive in these team fights. And right now, on top of that, being level 18, which is 4 levels higher than anyone else, than the Legion team, but 3 levels higher than his Demented Shaman teammate. But yeah, I mean, it's once again, what a pitfall right there. He hits Magma. It's a blind pitfall. He's going to use a showdown on Andromeda. Going to bring it back. A good Bombardier ultimate right there, kind of catching Gladiator a little bit. Out comes the Gladiator ultimate. Perfect placement once again. Gets a kill on Andromeda. And now they are on the run. Here we go. Gladiator running away, throws a random pitfall out. Not going to hit Voodoo Jester. His ultimate going off on a Bubbles right here. Bubbles all using the takeover. Magma's just sitting in a steam bat, doing the dot damage. Forsaken Archer gets absolutely destroyed right there. Bombardier in the meantime, way in the background. Pharaoh tries to push him back a little bit, but he's going to fall back right there. And now we have Voodoo Jester dropping low. Can Magnus finish him off? Magnus actually just wants to survive right here. It is barely going to happen. Oh, the flagellation almost reached. Not enough. Storm Spirit used right there at Bombardier. Can they finish him off now? He's going to play a little bit of Juke Ring around the Rosie in the fourth, but there's just too many players there. Out comes the stun. Out comes the slow. And down goes Bombardier. So, once again, just great team fight right there from Fnatic MSI. I don't believe anyone died, in fact. And, of course, now they're going to continue to push here in the middle lane, keep the pressure up as always, and now look to go into the base. The defensive tower already sitting at half life, so it's going to be able to, they're more than likely to be able to take it out here.
Impressive stun there by Magnus in order to get that invulnerability. As we see him charging his ultimate up and now and porting in and putting the stun out there. A whole lot of damage there. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of follow-up right behind him. They really needed Bubbles to be there with like basically full mana as he gets taken out right there. It's very unfortunate. Pharaoh now moving in, trying to make sure Magnus doesn't escape, and he will not, so he goes down as well. So what ended up being a very, very good Magnus ultimate, unfortunately, like I said, just did not have any support behind it, and that's going to cost him at least his defensive tower, more than likely the racks as well, as Forsaken Archer is the only one left alive, and her ultimate's still down for at least 30 or 20 more seconds, so she can't really do any harassment right there. But yeah, I was talking about that Magnus, that when he actually used that stun, that avoided all the damage from Witchslayer's Silver Bullet, and which bought him a little bit of time in order to set up that ultimate.
One thing, Gladiator one-shotted Andromeda through all that. I just want to point that out. Literally, I mean, you see him and then he just disappeared. He got one-shotted.
Yeah, Gladiator's good at doing that. Especially when he has a level 4 Rift Shards and an Assassin Shard. He's going to go right here once again. If he crits, he draws in a half-life. I mean, I was without the Rift Shard's great. So, yeah, you put that in there and pretty much a one-shot, like you said. So, yeah, it's ridiculous the damage that they're doing. As Magnus actually ports back in right here. Demented Shaman dropping low, and they are going to get the kill. Good sticky bomb use right there. And explodes him into thin air. So they do pick off Demented Shaman in the end, and he now has a minute resurrection timer. But again, we are at that kind of stage where it just feels like they're delaying the inevitable at this point. We're now getting up to the 34-minute mark, and the chance of a comeback is so rare. Witchslayer, by the way, he did go Shrunken Head as well. Very interesting combination there. But at the same time, definitely can be useful. If you have the farm, why the hell not? Voodoo Jester also with the portal keys, so even the ward bitch has enough gold to get his luxury item, that in the portal key. So very, very good news again all around here for the Hellborn side. Again, you look back at the Legion team, you go through their items, nowhere near comparable. Absolutely nowhere near comparable. Nullfire Blade being worked on by Forsaken Archer, by the way. Interesting choice right there. But, I mean, it does have its effects. Obviously, you can purge off quite a bit. So, we will see it used to its fullest, as well as the slow, of course.
Split shot too.
What's that?
It helps with split fire if he decides to pick it up. I mean, it does the mana burn on all the attacks, and also I think 65% of the mana taken away is turned into damage, and then that's turned into pure damage, and it's not split up. That damage is not split up with split fire, so he does get quite a good boost of damage from it.
Very true. Very, very true. I don't know, though. Something tells me you're not going to be getting Nullfire Blade for that, though. Especially with the way this game is going. You need damage, so... If anything, I mean, I think the overall thing behind it...
I don't think it's a good pickup, I'm just saying...
No, yeah.
I'm just saying that's why he's playing it.
I gotcha. But if anything, it's to remove, maybe something like the Gladiator ultimate, so you're not having to dealing with the half damage buff, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that and the slow, of course, are going to be the big things from it. I don't know though. It's interesting because I don't know how I feel about that. Whether or not that's necessarily worth it over something like a Geometer's Bane, which is the obvious or the usual pickup, I should say.
Exactly. I mean, there's just to be honest, I have no clue why he's playing it. There's no real urgent spell like a repel or something from a Jeremiah that needs to be purged away. I mean, there's just no reason why he wouldn't go for a John Bane or a Frostal Skull to get up the HP, or, you know, that combination here would be pretty good. I mean, Frostal Skull is one of the best items you can get against a Gladiator, because, you know, a Gladiator that can't move, I say this about all melee carries, melee carries that can't move are really useless, so I have no idea why he's put it.
True at that. By the way, Demented Shaman getting caught right here. Actually uses the barbed armor that he just picked up, but not nearly enough threatening damage right there. So again, MSI, they're getting a little bit sloppy. It's obvious. They're kind of pushing lanes by themselves and overextending deep into the base and stuff like that. So again, they're feeling comfortable enough, though, that they don't necessarily need to just lock down and truly finish this game, and they really have every right of that. By the way, as always, Freshbo doing something interesting and picking up a Slayer right here. So, I honestly wouldn't put it past him to go for a Doombringer, but he is quite a ways off and has a bit of farm to go before he does that. So, but it would always be interesting to see that. But we will see which route he takes. Voodoo Jester kind of just doing circles in the Conqueror pit. Just I don't know if he's waiting for his teammate or what. There we go. Witchster's going to get caught out right here. Had it, an invisible rune. But lo and behold, there's a Water Revelation nearby, and sure enough, Witch Slayer gets picked off, so that's just one of those really frustrating moments. Rune Dax picked up on Gladiator now, so, ooh, there's a concede vote, though. Ah, come on, I want to see something else finished. But the concede vote coming out from Duskbin, I wouldn't be surprised, obviously, if that passes. Again, the game has been over for quite a while now. It was a really good start from Duskbin. I mean, obviously, they were off to like a 4-0, 5-0 lead or something like that. They really did an excellent job. I mean, middle, Bombardier did a really good job in middle, but as we always talk about, it's just like it's kind of sad in a sense as well. We just always talk about the same thing when it comes to Fnatic MSI and teams playing against them. Whenever they run this Gladiator tri lane, it seems like the opposing teams always decide to play a farming game rather than a gank game, keep him pressured, keep him down, and it never, ever works out even close. So you just kind of wonder when we're going to see something new, but we just really don't, and that's just unfortunate in general. Honestly, with a lot of these competitive teams, they like to do a lot of the norm things, a lot of things that we're used to seeing. You know, you got to respect teams like Ice though, and like Dirty Minds, who are willing to try very different strategies and kind of come something with off the wall to kind of catch their opponents off guard. But that's been unfortunately not the case here, and they're going to be coming on the losing end. Although the concede vote didn't actually go through right there.
Well, there's a difference between being an innovator and being ridiculous, you know, that's for sure. Like, there are some lineups where, you know, it's fun to watch them play, but they really have little to no competitive viability. And meanwhile, you have people like Fnatic MSI who, you know, they put together and train with these specific strategies in mind, and then execute them at the highest level of play. So, I mean, you know, like I said, all props to people who like to try out new things, but you know, that just because it's something that's, you know, fresh and new doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that should be repeated even in like public style games. As we see a team fight coming down here, and Ultimate's going off here from Gladiator. He's going to catch two heroes, and immediately Bombardier and Andromeda just melt to the ground. One shot, it looks like, right there from Andromeda. Bubbles now trying to pour it out, trying to get himself out of there as the ultimate from Magnus is used. Trixie actually relatively low. He has that Assassin's Shroud. Probably going to use the whip here on Magnus to take him out. Not even needed as he goes down to Nova, who's playing that Voodoo Jester. But yeah, this should actually be the one to do it. I don't think we're going to be able to see too much here from Forsaken Archer, although she does still have her ultimate. And here comes Witch Slayer porting in now, using the minimize, and she looks like she'll be taken out here as the silver bullet lands, and that will be that. So just Bubbles around here right now, and you know, we're definitely going to see at least defensive tower go down here. More than likely the melee barracks as well. Andromeda now just resurrecting, may attempt to set up some sort of defense. Bubbles porting in once again, and now porting right back out. So a lot of just constant harass there from Bubbles, but with the great heals from both Mojo and Demented Shaman's healing wave, there's just not a whole lot you can do against this team.
No, there isn't a whole lot you can do against this team when you're at this stage. I mean, earlier on there is, honestly, but at this stage, yeah, there really isn't anything. The farm is just overwhelming, especially on this Gladiator. But even on top of him, I mean, it's the Demented Shaman. He is new with this lineup for Fnatic MSI, but he's so very powerful at the same time, especially with his ultimate. I mean, that ultimate provides so much minus armor for this Gladiator, and even the buff armor that it increases as well, on top of that Arcane Hive that he constantly throws on him, as I like to call it, the Superman Scape, and then just the chain heals. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this honestly is the more obvious or the more liked strategy from Fnatic MSI in terms of their Gladiator trial lane. If instead they choose to go with the Demented Shaman solo mid from every time now, rather than someone like the Soul Stealer or the Bombardier or even the Tundra. And so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But as for this game, it definitely worked out, as it usually does. And now they're making the way towards the middle lane, at least Gladiator is, and looking to clean up the racks, of course. And again, we're just waiting for the inevitable here. Duskbin, no doubt, they know that they're pretty much out of this game as well, but staying in as long as possible, maybe talking to themselves, going over strategies, what they could have done different, and yeah, who knows.
Yeah, I mean, going on to your Demented Shaman thing, like, you know, I also agree that we probably will see a lot more Demented Shaman from MSI. I mean, if you can beat a team like EG convincingly, with, you know, running this type of lineup, there's basically no team that you can't beat, in my opinion. So, you know, like I said, MSI, they're innovators. They consistently come up with these new strategies, and they're not just these harebrained ideas. They're ideas that, you know, that actually work, and you can put them into common play. You put it into your everyday repertoire, basically, and say, okay, this is what, you know, Trixie does. Why is this what he does, and how can I replicate it? And it actually works when you go into, you know, into public play, no matter what level you're at. These guys, they know what they're doing. They build successful and strong lineups with very strong heroes, and I mean, you know, all props to MSI. They are very much the #1 team in the world right now, in my opinion, and very deserving of so.
And by the way, MSI is always, especially Freshfo, of course, again, likes to have a fun time, and well, he has a Doombringer now, so he did choose to go for that Doombringer. As I said earlier, wouldn't be surprised, and sure enough, that's what he goes for. He also got a Savage Mace, by the way, though, so, I mean, his farm has just been exceptional. It's been really good. So, he's got that Doombringer now. Did somebody else drop that Doombringer for him? Did he really
have to, because he did not have that farm.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't make any sense. Actually, there's no way he had that point. That was Gladiators. That had to be Gladiators. Yeah. So I guess either Gladiator was supposed to pick it and Pharaoh just stole it from him or something, or yeah, something happened. Because yeah, there's no way Pharaoh had that type of farm. But dear God, Pharaoh hits hard. First time
he picked it up and stole it.
Yeah, first time we've ever seen a carry Pharaoh. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, by the way, shout out to actually Gamescast.tv. It's actually what it is. It's a new website. They finally just went live. They basically implement all the stream sites, all the cover sites for all esports in general, from Han to Dota to Counter-Strike to you know, Quake Live to just whatever game is out there in terms of esports. And they actually have broadcasts from Day 9 to DJ Wheat to TJBV. I mean, there's just pretty much all the top esport action you can find there. So definitely check it out there. It's actually a really, really good idea. And I'm actually interested to even check it out myself and watch some shows. Like I just watched actually DJ Wheat earlier. A lot of fun to watch, as God, Pharaoh is just doing way too much damage. But yeah, definitely check it out. We're on there as well, of course. And yeah, it announces like when anyone's going live. It's a schedule for all those websites. So Gamescast.tv, definitely check it out. Good idea. Good website. But yeah, we're now 45 minutes in. Doombringer Savage Mace combo on Pharaoh. He's again playing the carry Pharaoh status, doing quite a bit of damage. Look at Gladiator. He's using his illusions to take out the ancients up here, and he's actually doing it. Like they're actually killing the ancients. Oh man. Why haven't Duskbin conceded? That's what you gotta wonder. But with this said, MSI, they are going to be moving on to the Game Replays Finals. And there's they'll play the winner of course, EG versus I forget the name, but that European team. Whoever they whatever their name is. Crap, I'm forgetting. God, Pharaoh just hit so hard now. The winner of...
Mine?
No, the team that beat Walrein.
INFS or whatever.
INFS, yeah, that's their, whatever it is. INFS, yeah, so the winner of that
I don't remember
who they play. INFS. That is who they play. But yeah, the World Tree is going to be going down here, and that's going to officially do it. So Fnatic MSI, they are the victorious team in this game. And like I said, they move on to the finals now. So they'll play the winner of INFS versus EG. And, you know, of course, I'm sure a lot of people are expecting it to be the good old classic rematch. And for the fourth time in a matter of 2 weeks, the third time in 2 days, we're going to more than likely see those two teams go at it. So I'll look forward to that. And that should definitely be interesting, as it always is. But until then... again, that'll be next, so stay tuned for that. But again, for this cast, I was Breaky CPK. Joining me was Phil the Thrill, the Honcast staff. And as always, or Henry D, also joining us for his competitive insight. And as always, stay tuned to Honcast.com for much, much more coverage. Fileplay.net/channels/Honcast. That's where you can find our VODs, updates, and everything. Add us on Facebook and Twitter at Honcast. Get to get a lot of updates from that. So thanks for tuning in. We'll be right back with the finals, though. Finals coverage coming up next.